All right, we're gonna assemble this new Edsel RTA cabinet. This particular cabinet is 36 inches wide, 18 inches deep, 72 inches tall. We make some pretty strong claims here. This cabinet, shipped weight, is about 70 pounds. We claim that it can be put together with a simple mallet. So we're gonna put that to the test. I'm gonna walk you through assembly, but first we're gonna unpack. And then we're gonna sort out, make sure all the parts are laid out properly. We're gonna take a look and make sure all the parts are there, and we'll get moving. Okay, first thing, we have our instruction sheet. We're going to make sure that's set aside so we can get to it. Appears to be a door. Side. Here we have a back panel. This takes up quite a bit of room laying these out. We have second back panel. We have a fixed shelf, and you can tell the fix from the adjustable because of this lip right here. If you notice, the fixed shelf versus the adjustable shelf. The fixed shelf has a lip here and a clearance, and the adjustable shelf is flush across the top. Top. Now, with the top, the front of the top, you'll notice has this return bend right here. The back of the top, you'll notice has a cutaway notch and it's flush across it. No return brake. Okay. For the RTA tall unit, the 361872, we have 6 of these beams. Now, one thing you want to notice with the beams is that there's a ledge. That ledge goes up, and there's tabs on these ends. These ends will go towards the cabinet and lock into the faces of the side. Again, the ledge, no ledge. This is a landing for your shelf to sit on. Okay, so we have 6 beams. We have our shelves. We have our top. We have our back panels. We have a left side. And you'll notice this side, the pin is at the bottom and the edge is flush so that when it stands up, this pin is facing outboard to the side. You'll notice on your right side, pin to the bottom, the edge is flush. That's the face that points towards you where the doors will land. That's flush to the outside edge. Okay, here we have the doors. Okay, so we have our hardware bag. In our hardware bag, we have push pins, which are referenced in your instruction manual. We have the leveling legs, which is going to be our first step of assembly. We're going to install these leveling legs into the sides. I'll set those there. We have 2 rubber cord management grommets. We have 8 shelf clips for your adjustable shelves. And we have 2 of the top plunger hinges for our doors. So I'm going to put these right back in this bag for now, leaving out the leveling legs. First thing we're going to do is thread these leveling legs into the bottom of our sides, both front and rear, left and right. Simply thread in. What I'm doing here, just as a trick, to ensure your leveling legs are even, I just use my knuckle. And you'll be able to fine tune them from there. Okay, our leveling legs are in. The next step we're going to do, we're going to stand these sides up, and we're going to attach these beams this side up with your landing ledge. Tabs will go inboard, and when we get close to the sides, I'll point out on the sides there's notching, these teardrop notches to receive these tabs. And they lock in and they'll tap down. So what we don't want is them popping out. Good. Okay. Hold it. You go ahead and hold. All right. Okay, now, as the instructions say, these are taper fit tabs and slots, so you need to tap them down. You don't need to go crazy, you don't need to overdo it, but you want to tap them and set the beam. What that does, when you tap that, it pushes the taper in and gives you a nice tapered fit.
Continue.
Okay. So, the next part we're going to put on is our back. And you'll notice with the back, you have a strengthening rib along the side, and the outboard side, or the portion going to the furthest distance from the cabinet, from the center, has these holes lined in it. These holes, and we'll get to that when we show the push pins. These particular tabs here, 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 and then at the bottom, these latch on to the beams in the rear. So that'll hold it in place. And this part, again, this strengthening rib goes towards the center. Set this on, slide it over. We're gonna do. Okay. So here's our next panel. Now you'll notice that this panel has a offset rib, and that'll line up against the back, against the rib that's already there. Same tabbing to land on the beams. Same holes on the outside edge that'll line up with our fasteners that hold the panel to the back. Okay. slide that into position. Now, before we put the shelves in, what you want to do is in the center of these panels, we're going to have 3 of the holes that mate to our push pins. Now initially you may have some trepidation if you've ever put together an RTA cabinet. It usually comes with hundreds of nuts and bolts and screws and things like that you have to put together. What our engineers have done is we've copied from the automotive industry. The automotive industry uses these push pins on the inner fender wells of your car. If you look at the door panels of your car or wiring harnesses in your car, they use these quick push pins. They're very strong. And again, these panels are not carrying the weight of the product you're going to be putting on the shelves. These panels are carrying the weight of the panel. And there's one of these spaced out throughout the panel. So we're going to put these in a couple of spots on the back, and I'll get our cameraman to come back and take a look at it while he holds the product in place when we do it. So, if you notice, this panel floats. It can float in and out, it can float up and down. The reason you want to put these in before the shelf is the shelf adds friction, which makes it difficult to slide these panels into place. So what we're going to do, I'm going to have my handy dandy cameraman step in front of the cabinet to put some force forward, so when I'm pushing these pins in with my mallet, it has something to hold in place. And we're gonna put in the pins that are in the middle of the panel. You holding it? Good. Whoop. All right, here we go. That pin in. We're gonna do this on both sides. Okay, remember, we're going to do this block of 3 here in the middle. What that does is ensure that your panels line up. I'm going to get my cameraman to hold the front again. Whoop. Now, we're going to come back and finish this at the end. We'll leave these ones loose. Okay, remember when I talked about the shelves, you have the adjustable shelves that are flush across the front. Okay, we're going to set those aside, and we're going to install the fixed shelf. Fixed shelf meaning it stays in place, it doesn't move. These fixed shelves, I don't know if our cameraman can get in here, but we have these landings, these tabs here on the side that are going to lay into this edge of the fixed shelf. And then the edge of the shelf, front and rear, are going to land on this ledge here. There's one, and we have one at the bottom as well. And there's our fixed shelf. Our fixed shelves are in. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our top, and we're going to put our top on. Remember, the top has this return bend. This is the face of the top. And you can see this return bend. On the rear of the top, you have a notch, and it's smooth. It's very important that this edge right here goes behind this beam. If it sticks out in front of it, this beam is locked in place by this. These beams are locked in place by your fixed shelf that pushes down on it once you put weight on your cabinet. So here's a good place to have a helper as well, kind of lining this top up. Good. Okay. Now, the importance of that is your helper can help you make sure we're lining this up so that that front face is behind, our return bend is up behind the beam, and in the back, let me show you here. There's a notch out for this strengthening rib from the two side panels. So there's a notch out there. Then you'll notice you have aligning holes around the cabinet to mount the top to the sides. Now, the next thing we're going to go ahead and do, is go ahead and mount our doors. So, in order to do that, we need our spring hinges. These are plunger barrel hinges, and they're spring loaded. You want to do this while the top is kind of loose because it ensures installing these is easy. Okay, cut. We're going to go ahead and install the doors now. It doesn't matter if you do left or right first, it's fine. One thing I will say, and I'll show it to you here, this barrel, when you put it down into the top of the door, it may be loose. It's designed to drop in the door, and it pinches and sets a gap. Once that gap's set, it'll be perfectly fine, so don't be alarmed by that. We're going to go ahead and grab our right door. We're going to push our hinge in. See what I'm talking about? You see a little bit of wobble there. That's nothing to be alarmed about. Now, in the bottom of the door, you'll notice there's a little nylon glide there. And that's so your door glides smoothly and fits over the pin. We're going to set that on our pin gently. Now here, what you can do is simply lift up on your side slightly in the front, put your pin in, pull it back down, leave it. We're going to pull it down when we set our push pins in around. So just leave that there. We're going to do the same with the left door. We're going to put in our push pin. We're going to set it on its lower pin. We're going to lift this up slightly. Maybe this side, allowing that to line up. And we can shut our door. You'll notice your doors have little magnets to hold them closed. Now we can go around and line up our outside and put in our push pins. Now we have 22 locations with push pins. The first thing you want to do on your top is pull the top down flush, get your pin in and set on the front outside edges. That'll hold your doors firmly in place. Okay, then we can work our way around. Okay, we'll do the same on the other side. come around to the back. You see the back center where the top meets the backs. And you don't need to slam on these. Just a nice tap and lock them in place. We're going to go ahead down our backs and get the rest of the push pins in our back. Oop. Trying to do too many things at once. Come over to this side. And each kit will come with 2 extra push pins. Okay, so now we're down to our adjustable shelves. We're going to go ahead and put our adjustable shelves in. And you have spacing, 4-inch spacing throughout the inside. So this top section, you can adjust the shelf within 4 inches. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 locations. The same at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 locations at 4 inches apart. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to put these in the second location. This clip, this tongue here, goes into this slot and it falls down. Gravity will let it fall, and that's the ledge that your shelf will sit on the back side. We have the same issue here. Here. Then we'll go ahead and put in our adjustable shelf. Now notice, these shelf strength come from the channel. This channel, which is folded over, and has a landing on itself, and that's what gives this its strength. Set your okay. Press it firmly down. We'll do the same thing at the top. Put that shelf right in the middle. Shelf clips in place. There we go. We'll go ahead and put in our other adjustable shelf. Let's set that in place. Your cabinet's sturdy? Yes, it's incredibly light. The material is made out of aluminum. The aluminum is 20 gauge thickness, so it is very, very strong. The weight is pushing down on this, is pushing down on about 18 inches of aluminum block, basically, the way those channels are designed. So it's plenty strong. It's stronger than what you'll ever fit inside the shelf. Okay. So each one of these shelf positions is rated for 300 pounds. Oftentimes our customers who are touching this, because they're so used to steel, a steel body and steel panels, they think this is incredibly lightweight. They don't believe that it'll hold 300 pounds. We have all the testing data to prove that out. So each one of these shelf spacing will hold 300 pounds. Our cord management areas, or our cord management plugs. So on the back side of these, if you want to go ahead and cut those, you can feed a cord through it. If you don't want to use cord management, you can just simply use them as plugs, and it'll plug the holes that you see in the back here and down at the bottom. The easiest way to install these is from the back side. So if you notice, there's a little ring around here that's sized to fit the gap of the aluminum material as far as the clearance goes. So you squeeze those together and just kind of start running that ring right inside the gap. And then that pulls, and that's locked in place. We do the same thing at the bottom. Pinch it, start it, and there you go. All right, so here you have it. Our cabinet's assembled, incredibly lightweight. I can pick it up by myself. I'll get my cameraman to help me. We'll actually pick it up and set it back against the wall. And again, we're pinching, there's no handle holes, we're just pinching. Setting it back against the wall. We're ready to go. We're ready to use this cabinet. No nuts and bolts, easy to assemble, mallet, and a helper. Thank you.